What's up? Welcome to the Hobbynomicon. Today I'm going to do my first attempt ever at trying to sculpt anything. It's going to be pretty basic stuff. I recast this miscast demon prints, and the print came out pretty bad. And here I'm just showing you, the legs were totally jacked and the back is totally jacked. So I used an X-Acto just to round over the edges and give me kind of a blank canvas to work on. So I'm going to jump right in. This is the most green stuff I have ever mixed together at once. And what I'm doing here is I'm cutting out that middle strip where the two colors meet, because that's always hard. It's already partially cured. I'm gonna end up using it, and I'll show you that later. But just mixing it up, getting it nice and green, and slapping it on here. And my gloves are wet, and I'm dipping them in water so it doesn't stick right now. And I'm just smoothing this out into the actual pre-existing sculpt, so it looks like I just globbed it on there, but it's actually pretty flush with the surrounding areas. And you'll see as I'm working it in, it starts to look more and more like a shoulder. And my goal today is to kind of get the basic forms fleshed out and maybe start adding a little bit of texture. And that's what I'm trying to. I don't have any real sculpting tools yet, so this is a leather needle. So here you can really see where it looks like it's not flush, but I've really kind of worked that out into the surrounding model. Here's a better look at it, maybe. There we go. So you can see, like, I've rounded the shoulder, and I'm looking at the other model to try to kind of match how the original demon prints is. And now coming over to the other side, this side isn't missing as much material, so it's going to be pretty easy. Pretty much the same thing I just did. Here you can really see how wet my gloves are. So that's so the green stuff doesn't stick to my gloves. I do know a little bit about green stuff, and now I think we're looking pretty good. I don't want it to be perfectly even, but I do want it to look nice when you look at it. So we've got the shoulders filled out. What I'm gonna do now is the parts of the neck where, like, the skin folds got distorted. So I'm putting a little clump on right here, and I'm gonna use that leatherworking needle actually I think technically it's a sail needle, to put the skin folds back in. And so I pressed in too hard here. So then I just, again, go back in with some water so it doesn't stick to the needle again, and I'm just working it and smoothing it back out. If I could do this, anybody can do this. This is the most sculpting I've ever done. It's crazy. I don't even want to call it sculpting. So now I'm using that clump of the already, like, the middle strip as this filler to pad out, and now I have the real, like, actually usable green stuff that I just got in this flat disc. I'm gonna throw over the top, so just to bulk out the curve of the back that was missing. And just working it in, same thing. I'm trying to match the old demon prints. I'm going to do something different than the ridges up the back. So I'm just trying to get the basic shape in. And then once this is in, I'm going to go back on top of it and add a little bit more material. And now this is isopropyl alcohol. And what this does is it turns the green stuff, it liquefies the green stuff. So now when I come back in, and you'll see it like it's tinting the white now, I'm really able to work this into the surrounding model and make a smooth transition between the plastic cast or the resin cast and where the green stuff is. So, and it also makes the green stuff super smooth. So here I'm going back in and just adding texture to it. And I was using a piece of Lego, but then I found these balled push pins, and this is a much better texture. So I hit the whole thing just a ton, just like this. I'm not gonna make you watch me do all of it, but here we go through the movie magic. And some of the finishes coming off, which I actually don't mind, because it's just creating more texture for me. So I'm getting this almost like toad-like skin, which is kind of where I want to go. So now you can see, hey, we're starting to cook, you know? The very bottom of it, I'm gonna fill that in because I want to actually work on the transition between this texture and the bottom, like, skin roll ridges, because I do want to keep those down there. I just got this idea. I pushed these push pins in, like, pretty deep to make an indent, and I'm gonna try to make, like, stuff growing out of his back, almost like there's something else, like, growing on the green stuff patch. Like, I don't know, maybe like moss, probably moss. This is a throwback to, or a callback, and maybe like mushrooms growing out. So I'm pushing those pins in to kind of make like an indentation to where I can sculpt mushrooms and have the mushrooms coming out of his back. I don't want to overdo it, and I kind of want to keep it asynchronous. So I didn't want to put one on both shoulders. So I think this is it. All right, so I wanted to cut in the footage of me actually casting this guy, but I realized that the footage corrupted, so I don't have it. But this guy that I'd cast myself is a recast of the miscast Demon Prince, and this is what the back normally looks like. I realized that he came unstuck from the bottom of the mold, and he had floated to the top. So I had, when I cast this toad, which is, I was originally going to do this project on this toad. I was going to do some kit bashing and conversions with the toad. So when I cast him, I had extra stuff. I made too much. So I just poured it in here to see what I would get. And I knew it'd be a mess, but I wasn't quite sure what I'd get. So that's why I started and had this guy, so why he, like, the whole top half was missing. But then I thought, like, it would be a much cooler opportunity to sculpt something myself. So now he's all dry. It's pretty much sat all day, and you can get a better idea of the textures we made. And the finish came off of the push pins, which is fine. Like, I figured that was going to happen. I'm not really worried about that. If anything, it adds more texture. So those divots are going to be spots where I can put in, like, big thing. Like, I'm thinking I'll probably do mushrooms coming off of his back and stuff. And we're definitely not done, because I purposely didn't finish this part where the ridges are, because I want to do something different. And I'll fill all that in and blend it out. Once this is totally dry, it's still kind of tacky. So it might be like another day before I come back to it. But I'm pretty excited. This is the most green stuff I've ever used. It's the first time I've ever used it for anything other than anything other than like gap filling. This is the most green stuff I've ever mixed up at one time. And I'm pretty happy. And again, I didn't have any real tools. Like, all I had was those little pins and my fingers. So I'm pretty happy with this so far. All right. Thanks for watching. I'll see you tomorrow.